I want to add my voice to the panelists who are congratulating the Honorable Kujetu Ablakwa for the work that's been done so far, including the ability to galvanize the workers' front, except to caution him not to go the Napo way and compare himself to the Niboni. He almost compared himself to the Niboni riots of 1948. Not since 1948 the workers come together.
I'm celebrating the workers.
Congratulations.
I'm congratulating the workers.
You didn't catch it.
I'm saying that the last time we saw this kind of
job. It's a fantastic thing.
Workers' solidarity,
including the fight to protect state assets. It's really horrific, the things that are going on now. But then, first of all, I want to appeal to the workers to pause on the strike. No. It is my Hold on. I have a right to make.
We are going to also take our decision.
Thank you. I have a right to pause the strike. I have a right to speak my mind. I didn't interrupt you. I have a right to speak my mind.
Leadership will meet and then take their time.
Thank you.
You're even tired of working and earning little. You are tired of working and earning little.
If you listen to me, you will realize that I'm on the right path.
Thank you.
If you listen to me, you will realize that I'm on the right path.
Please. Yes.
What I'm saying is that this is a threshold on which workers can actually force the issues to the forefront and look at the way forward. There's momentum. There is genuine momentum. If you have come to this point where the threat of a strike has compelled the government to review its position, for regulatory agencies and the primary investor agency to review its position, for the primary investor, the strategic investor to review its position, then there must be a way forward. It doesn't end there. Getting rid of the boards and all that, that's all very well and good. But I want to look at the beyond. And I'm happy that Honorable Kujetu Ablakwa moved into ideology about state assets and all that, the privatization of state assets and not being in favor, and yet concluded that it is useful to have some form of private involvement.
But not sale to them.
Degrees, there are always degrees of private involvement. In some instances, you can sell. In some instances, you can have concession arrangements. The important thing is that privatization injects a certain level of expertise and skills and investment that can transform management and therefore improve the value of assets. So you don't dismiss private sector entirely. But then, going back to this, as a platform for the way forward. This is the time to interrogate the whys and then look at the hows going forward. The whys is that, first of all, why have SSNIT terminated now? Is it only because of the strike? Because if it's only because of the strike and what they are trying to do is good, then they have reneged on a promise to the Ghanaian people, according to law, to take care of our public sector investments so that in future, Professor Jampo can be catered for in his pension. So why have they terminated? Were they doing something wrong? It needs to be interrogated. Then, where were the investment guidelines? Because NPRA is a regulator. And it was very interesting to hear you say that somebody high up in NPRA called you in the night and said that they didn't have anything to do with the statement that came
some of them, it was
that statement is a complete disaster. Because by law, NPRA has no right to approve. They don't have a right to approve. They have a right to review. First of all, they need to recommend through a framework for investment. The investment decisions are that of SSNIT, but within a framework, guidelines provided by NPRA. And that means that as the oversight and supervisory authority, NPRA can look at it and make recommendations. This is good, this is bad, do this, do that. The NPRA cannot approve and say, on the basis of my approval, go ahead, because it is not the business of the NPRA to invest pension funds. So if that letter indeed is not coming from NPRA, and this is what we're talking about this morning, responsibility of appointment. The people who call you in the night on principle should get up and say that this is not our doing. The people in charge of NPR, if they deserve their jobs, because people and Jampo are calling for their heads this morning, including Okujeto, should up and say that as for us, we don't believe in this or that. As for us, we had the framework of supervision in place. You must be bold.
Kenya.
You must do something.
Yeah.
So for me, what I'm saying is that once you get people doing what they are supposed to do by tenure, by law, and be accountable for their actions, then some of these things, we can proceed them to the next level, way forward. Because we still need the investment. We still need to get these things going. Because if we leave them in the current state, they will not be there when we need the pensions. An asset is as good as its sustenance, maintenance, and continued viability. If you leave, I'm not done. Don't sit back.
Not done. Yes.
So the question going forward is how do we accumulate domestic capital, especially from the 30% SOE sector of our economy, which is dragging us down without accountabilities, with impunities and all that. That is why page 19 of the Great Transformational Plan says that we'll do intermediation. We are first of all going to list all profitable SOEs on the stock exchange and introduce worker-owned schemes. Worker-owned schemes. So the people who are in the hotels who believe they can do it must own part of it as a motivation for ensuring that those things perform. And they are in a position to raise public funds. So then you ask yourself, will the tier 2 and the private pension trust funds believe in these hotels enough to invest in them? Because those are worker funds.
Right.
You understand? Right. So we are looking at that. We are looking at getting rid of all unperforming SOEs and investing the money accrued from that in a Ghana sovereign fund,
right,
which sovereign wealth fund can issue debt equity. Debt equity. It means government-supported equity to SOEs to run, and where, if possible, they are viable to deliver profits. So there we have investment funds, and then we are saying that apart from, we need to look at SSNIT's legacy investments. How well has SSNIT's portfolio been run so far?
Right.
Hotels, office buildings, real estate. Indeed, where are we with that SSNIT portfolio? Are the hotels doing well? No, because now we are struggling to bring it straight. What about the real estate, the commercial real estate sector? The SSNIT office buildings. Look at Trust Towers. Look at near airport, the Emporium. Yeah. Are they in good condition? Are they returning the money? So this is an opportunity to bring SSNIT to the forefront and get them to account for their activities within the context of their investment portfolio.
This should go beyond this Rock City
This is a platform. That's why I'm saying that when I started, I said that we should suspend the strike and use this as a threshold, as a jump-off pad to really engage SSNIT and get them to account for where they are sitting, what they are doing, to engage NPRA and get them to account to the people of Ghana and the workers in particular.
Thank you.
Because the formal sector, who we call the workers, are the ones who are really in danger here, because informal sector, which is the largest part, are not compelled to pay SSNIT contributions. This pension structure we have now is heavily tilted towards public sector workers. So they are outraged, and they have a right to be outraged. But this is an opportunity to step forward and change things the way they should be done. Now, to conclude, the Great Transformational Plan has 10 anchor industries that can be initiated in Ghana, dealt within in Ghana, and offer opportunities for strategic investments. So if you are changing the investment portfolio of SSNIT after a review, you can put it in pharmaceuticals, you can put it in bauxite refining, you can put it in salt, you can put it in so many things that are more viable than perhaps the current portfolio. But the important thing is that, as Mr. Okujeto said, let us not rule out the private sector entirely, because private sector comes with advantages, but those benefits must be moderated by solid regulation. And our regulators are failing us because they are cowards. Our regulators are the ones who are failing us because they are not living up to the tasks that they've been given. And that is where we must look. Because otherwise, if we keep changing the people without changing the environments in which they work, without giving them the courage to do the work that they do, we will not advance.
Thank you. And as we round up, as I know some of the Blackwell would have to leave us. So after this point, you've given us indication that there's a public assets protection bill that is a private member's motion that you're pushing together with other like-minded persons in Parliament. Then what next? Quickly, before
Yes, so in the coming days, we will be publishing the draft bill and we'll do stakeholder consultations. We want particularly organized labor to have a look at it and the Ghanaian people to make inputs, and then we will submit it to Parliament. And I believe that we can mobilize support of the Speaker and both sides. Interestingly, a few MPs on the other side have reached out that they want to be part of this.
I see.
So
NPP MPs.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that is really looking good. I hope that we'll get the needed bipartisan support because look, this has to end. There are things going on. Look, sometimes I ask myself, are we even sure that some of these assets we think that belong to the states are still in the name of the state? Are we sure? Because until I intercepted the Dubois agreement, I didn't know that Dubois was gone for 50 years. I didn't know, but we were all here as Pan-Africanists thinking that, oh, Dubois is still for us, it's still for the state and all of that.
Indeed.
You know, Jubilee House, Leicester Square, all all of that. Are we really
the
sure?
prisons land, especially the prisons land. Outside prime land.
You know, so
Adenta, aviation.
Aviation lands, all gone.
Thank you.
Create, loot, and share.
And finally, I want to emphasize that the current generation of leaders should be thinking about the next generation. Population is increasing. When we put up hospitals, doctors should live close to the hospitals. Nurses should live close to the hospitals. That was the vision of our founding fathers. That is how they established. These days, we even build schools and teachers have to commute 1 hour, 2 hours. You know, they are always late. Teachers don't have accommodation in the communities where the schools are. Either there is no land or we just didn't even think about their welfare.
True.
You know, and all the land is being sold. We are not even looking at our environmental concerns.
Thank you.
You know, because if we keep destroying the forests, we keep destroying horticultural zones, I mean, we are virtually committing suicide. That's what we are doing. You know, so apart from the blatant corruption, the thievery, the state capture going on, we are even destroying our very livelihood. We face an existential threat with this unbridled greed, which is at play.
Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is the Member of Parliament for the Northtown constituency, Chief Interceptor, and
today you are giving me a lot of titles.
Indeed, uncle and good friend. In fact, one of my many mentors in this path that I am on, Fifi Banson, says, good morning to my Saltpond brother, Professor Jampo, and Anas Promax, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
Anas Promax.
Yes. I'll be back shortly after this quick break. In fact, don't go away because there's another issue that's of serious concern. We'll be back after this quick break. Other guests will be joining us as well. Stay with us.
Good.